there, I'm Michelle with the Goffstown Public Library, where I'm an adult services librarian. My job is to bring the information that you want or need to you when you want or need it. And although I'm not physically in the library today, I aim to do just that, which is why I'm coming to you for a first episode of a brand new series, Book Talk with Michelle. That's me. Today we thought we'd do something special to kick off this new series, so I'm going to be talking about my library book haul. Like most people in March 2020, I might have engaged in just a bit of stockpiling to prepare for being home for an extended period of time, but I didn't rush out to get toilet paper or pasta. No. I was low-key hoarding library books. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I was doing that before the world shut down, but now I have more because of the pandemic. So today, I'm going to walk you through what I'm reading in April, why these books appealed to me, and how you can check out these books while you're stuck at home if you're interested. So let's get started. The first book on my stack you've probably already heard of, because any book Oprah recommends shoots to the bestseller list. That book is The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi. I'm actually reading this book in large print because this has been such a popular title that I haven't seen the regular print copy checked in at the library since its mid-fall 2019 publication date. So I'm excited to have access to any copy. The Water Dancer is Coates' first novel after his two very successful nonfiction books, Between the World and Me and We Were 8 Years in Power. I've read both of those and enjoyed them. Plus, I am a fan of his work at The Atlantic, so I think this book is going to be a good fit for me. Plus, I'm also reading this book because it's the June book club pick for the book discussion group that I run at the Goffstown Public Library. So The Water Dancer is a historical novel, very literary with some magical realism sprinkled in. Those aren't things I normally gravitate towards, so it should be a fun departure of my normal reading habits. Additionally, this book is culturally diverse. Most of the characters are Black, and it deals with the main character, Hiram Walker, being a young Black boy born into slavery. So you might enjoy this book if you enjoy the theme of facing racism, or if you like books that are character-driven, dramatic, and a little bit mystical. I do have to say, this book, like Coates' other work, is stylistically complex. It's worth the challenge, but it is a challenge. But if you're up for it, you can get this book on Overdrive or Cloud Library, our library's ebook distributors. If you're new to ebooks, you can find the links to get you started right there in the description. But for this book, I cannot promise there won't be a holds list. The next book I have is not as popular, and it's also nonfiction. Normally, I prefer nonfiction, but I stretch myself into fiction as often as possible, though there is nothing like the comfort of an engaging nonfiction work. So when I grabbed How to Do Nothing by Odell, I was pretty sure this was going to be right in my wheelhouse. Although I did think it was going to be one of those self-help books about decluttering, living a simple life, etc. Now, I really like those books, but they mostly contain platitudes about slowing down, smelling the roses. You know how it goes. This book, How to Do Nothing, is definitely not that. In here, Odell is basically positing that it's a radical act of protest to resist the attention economy, our current economic system that prizes productivity and efficiency above all else. So I was enjoying this book before COVID-19 really swept the US, but since social distancing has come into effect, it's taken on a whole new meaning that I really like. I find myself wondering about myself, am I truly incapable of doing nothing in the face of a global shutdown? It's been some great food for thought. You might also enjoy this book if you like philosophy, or if you feel incapable of slowing down, or if you're just a little bit anti-capitalist. You can enjoy this book as an ebook on Overdrive, or you can listen to it as an audiobook on Hoopla, the library's streaming service. If you're new to our downloadables, again, you can find all the information for that in the description. Speaking of Hoopla, it's great for reading graphic novels and comics online. Their reader is actually quite amazing. You can view it either as a whole page or see a panel by panel view. That way, even if you're on your phone, you have the full graphic novel experience. So when I recommend Goffstown, The Imaginary World of the Brontes by Isabel Greenberg, you'll be able to view the stunning illustrations digitally with Hoopla. I picked up Goffstown because I love graphic novels and I'll read just about any of them. I don't know much about the Brontes, so I think I'm going to be in for a real treat. While I was flipping through the art of Goffstown, I thought to myself, I wonder if this author has written anything else, because these are quite stunning. So I look her up, and Isabel Greenberg is the author of one of my favorite graphic novels, 100 Nights of Hero. So, duh, I enjoy these drawings. Well, Goffstown is a mashup of fact and fantasy about the Brontes who, as children, imagine and then write about this incredible fantasy world, Goffstown. And then the story is going to answer the question, how can reality ever be enough when fiction is so compelling? And also, what happens to fictional worlds when their creators grow up? So I'm ready to tear into that one. The next book I have is actually a documentary. It's not a book at all. Rigged, the voter suppression playbook, is a film chronicling how our most important right in America, the right to vote, has been undercut for many people for over a decade by those in power. The film is narrated by Wright, who is doing a pretty good job. When I started watching it last night, I was impressed by how they got me to care about something that was otherwise pretty dry. The human connections were real strong, and like I said, I'm a sucker for nonfiction, so I'm enjoying it. You might like this if you are interested in politics or social justice. Overall, it's a great watch leading up to the 2020 election season. This next book, there is no way I could have left it on the library shelf. Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey has the tagline, "Are you a coward or are you a librarian?" Yeah, so I definitely wanted this book. I started reading it right there in front of the shelf and was hooked. Right there on the front flap, it says, in the future American Southwest, it's full of bandits, fascists, and queer librarians on horseback trying to do the right thing. Yes please. So definitely check that out. Pretty much it's a Western set in a dystopic future where the government has put strict censors on information, and the librarians are supposed to be the ones who are enforcing the censorship. It reminds me of Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, where the firemen are the people who start fires. So just like a clever inversion. I'm really excited to read that. I honestly don't know how I'm not reading it right now. You can and should read it through Overdrive or Hoopla as an audiobook. I know it's hard to believe based on how much I like the last one, but I did save my favorite for last. These books aren't new, but I turn back to them over and over again. The Locke and Key series by Joe Hill and illustrated by Gabriel Rodriguez are my favorite graphic novels. They were recently turned into a Netflix series, so I thought right now would be a good time to revisit the books. The world is so well imagined. It breaks my heart how good it is. The characters are well drawn and I care about them, and the tension, even now that I know what happens, has me at the edge of my seat. I have the first 3 in my stack, but Hoopla has all 6 of the series, plus the 3 short stories that are associated with the series. I am a huge fan of Joe Hill's work. I got to meet him a couple years ago, and oh my gosh, one of the best days of my life. So if graphic novels aren't your thing, you could also check out his other work, his prose, in Overdrive. Like I said, can wholeheartedly recommend all his work, although I do think you'll like Locke and Key if you like Stephen King, if you like Lovecraftian horror, or if you like some teenage angst. I've heard this compared to Stranger Things because of the otherworldly magical aspects, plus the children. I don't completely agree with the comparison, but I understand where people come from when they say that. This series, Lock and Key, does have some mature content. There's violence and sexual assault and vulgarity, but ultimately it's a story of good triumphing over evil, and I'm always going to have a place for that in my life. Well, thanks for joining me today. We talked about 6 books from my April library haul. Hopefully that stack is big enough to last through the end of the month. Any books we talked about today are linked in the description. Plus, you'll find the library's digital resources linked there as well. All you need is your library card to start downloading some awesome digital content. What are you going to be reading in April? Let me know in those comments. Like and share if you got something out of this video, and don't forget to subscribe for awesome content from the Goffstown Public Library. Things like crafts, online events, story times, and book talks for all ages. I'll see you back here next Saturday for another episode of Book Talk with Michelle. In the meantime, connect with the Goffstown Public Library on social media for even more great book recommendations. Or check out our website, goffstownlibrary.com, and see what's in the catalog for yourself. Again, I'm Michelle from the Goffstown Public Library, and I'll check you out later. Bye!